The US government is making big changes on September 30th, 2025, via the Trump administration. Now, if you are a person that is a senior, veteran, and even those that are lower income, or if you have medical bills, this change will truly affect you and your credit scores. Now, under the Trump administration, the CFPB quietly conceded to a lawsuit brought by medical debt collectors. On July 11th, 2025, the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Texas vacated the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau rule prohibiting inclusion of medical collections on consumer credit reports. The courts also concluded that the Fair Credit Reporting Act expressly preempts state laws that attempt to impose similar restrictions. The court reinforced the principle that regulators agencies must operate within the boundaries of their statutory authority. This decision set uniform standard presently and for the future while preserving the integrity and the reliability of credit reporting systems in the United States. Now, with this law reversal, coupled with the new executive order that Donald Trump set in place for September 30th, 2025, means disaster for many people. Number one, 58% of credit reports in 2021 had reporting of medical debt. So you are not in control over you being sick. So many people believe that medical debts should not be considered when it comes down to your credit report. And additionally, many of these creditors are called third-party creditors. Now, you never received anything from these companies as far as a t-shirt, Uber ride, but they're claiming that you owe them a debt for a service they never even given you. And they can then try to smack this on your credit report and do credit terrorism when many of these companies are not compliant to the law themselves. And they trick you when you call and you answer the phone. By them recording your phone call, they are getting you to come into a verbal agreement with them, because many of them know they don't have a legal right many a times to collect on this debt. So they cahoot you by saying that they are Verizon or any other company, you to acknowledge that that bill is owed. And then you begin to volunteer to pay them $25 or whatever that you state that you're going to pay them a month. And this can actually reinstate a statute of limitations on you and even have a lawsuit brought against you, even for debts that you don't even owe. And Portfolio Recovery Services got caught actually doing this to people for debts that were already paid, especially when it comes down to medical debts. Many of you guys better call your insurance company, because many of those debts your insurance company covered, but these people are playing credit terrorism on you by slapping that on your credit report. Now, coupled with Trump's new executive order that he passed back in March, let's break down the details on what is taking effect on September 30th, 2025. On March 25th, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order modernizing payments to and from America's bank account. Now, with this executive order, the policies that's laid out that it promotes phase out of paper checks, disbursements, and receipts effective September 30th, 2025, to the extent permitted by law. The Secretary of Treasury shall cease issuing paper checks for all federal disbursements, including of intergovernmental payments, benefits, payments, vendor payments, and tax refund, except as specified in Section 4 of this order. The Secretary of the Treasury shall support agencies transitioning to digital payment methods, including by providing access through the Department of Treasury centralized payments system to direct deposits, debit and credit card payments, digital wallets, and real-time payment systems, and other modern electronical payment options. Now, this coupled with the overturning of the medical debts reporting on your credit report, now you can't have a bypass to get your money as a tax refund or even your Social Security benefits, VA benefits, or any other benefits given by the federal government, but to hit your bank account. So if you are sued for a medical collection and they get a judgment, now this can tie up all your money or freeze your accounts, because if they get a judgment and a lien against your bank accounts, now your money is taken. And with this, many of people who are getting government assistance can't afford to pay for these medical debts, especially in this high inflation. Let's just face it. Many people that are middle class and even upper middle class is really struggling with the high cost of living, high cost of food, high cost of everything. And now credit terrorism and maybe even a judgment by a third party company that is not proving that they really have a legal right to collect on a debt. Because many of these companies will just go and file lawsuits against you, maybe in a state that you move from, or you might have moved from an address and they actually don't serve you properly. And then you don't appear in court and they can get a judgment. So this forces you to then find out about it when you get that garnishment in your wages, or God knows if they freeze your bank account in this day and age. Now, you want to make sure that you're always challenging your medical debts with a debt validation letter, and always demand that they show you proof that they have a legal right to collect on the debt. Now, with my elite credit system, my user Greg was able to remove a collection within 12 days. And if you need my help, my link is in the description of the video and in the pinned comment section. And if you go to my website, you can download this free heart inquiry removal package, and that link is in the description of the video. Make sure that you're watching what you're saying when you're on the phone with these companies, and make sure you do not reinstate the statute of limitations, or even worse, this may be past the statute where they can even report it on your credit report because it's over 7 years and you actually talking to them, telling them you're going to start making payments. This can reactivate them to be able to report that for a whole nother 7 years. So you would get like 14 years for this debt. So one thing, you want to make sure that you're taking steps. The one part is still that's activated with medical debts. The credit bureaus volunteered that any medical debt under $500, they would not report. So by any way possible, if you guys got medical debts, make sure that you at least try to pay them down under that $500 mark so it don't show up on your credit report if you have an outstanding medical payment. Now, you want to pay this directly with the medical facility that treated you. You want to be careful because a lot of these companies will call and act like they are that medical treatment facility billing, but you need to hang up and call directly to that company and watch verifying your information with them. Once you do that, that starts the clock for them to slap that on your credit report. So be careful. If you receive a letter from a medical company in the mail, you have 30 days to verify that debt. Always send it certified mail to them, and make sure you never sign that letter because they are not above of taking your signature and putting it on a contract. So do not sign those letters. You can put the account information and the amount, but be careful on giving them information they don't need, because at the end of the day, they got to prove you owe them and you even know them. So a lot of this is borderline illegal. So make sure that you're watching and protecting your money as much as possible, and make sure that you try to protect your credit. And if you have any medical bills floating out there, make sure that you call your insurance companies to see if your insurance company already paid that company. So hopefully this information was helpful. If you have questions or comments, leave it in the comment section. But if you have more detailed questions for me, go to my website and all your questions go directly to my cell phone. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned.